Good morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I'm really feeling this rising sun in the background. Like, honestly, I feel like you could just not listen to me. Let's just look at that pretty. The trees look with the sun in them. It's amazing. Excuse me. I hit my pen right before I turn this on. Anyways, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I am out in the front today. Like I said, I'm really feeling the rising sun. And also the beauty of the moon. I'd show it to you, but I don't think my camera will zoom in on the moon. It's really crystal clear. I love the moon in the winter and these darker times just because of the clarity that you get from the moon. It's amazing. Anyways, so today let's talk about ideal self. That's why the rising sun just seems so appropriate. Plus, it's really early and my kids are sleeping. I don't want to wake them up. So, anyways, so your ideal self seems so perfect. When you start to think about who it is you want to be and what that person is and who that person is, they're perfect. They make all the right decisions. They're successful. They're smart. They're funny. They're attractive. They're all of these things that you want to be. And sometimes that can be overwhelming just to think about that. And I remind myself this, and I remind my clients this, and I remind people this, you are your harshest critic. Your standards, your ideal self, this is who I should be and how I should do it is bigger, better, more, you are your biggest critic. You are going to be your harshest judge, and you are comparing yourself to this perfect person that you've created in your brain that you're like, oh, this is perfect, that's who I should be. And that's not always realistic. My ideal self is not realistic at all, and I remind myself that all the time. My ideal self should already be running a multinational nonprofit organization that helps homeless and battered families, because not just women, men get battered too. Foster kids that don't have anywhere else to go, homeless people, sick people, old people, and all pagans, obviously. And so, and I'm not there yet. Dang it. So I just, I remind myself that even though, like, in a perfect world where I had everything that I needed when I needed it in that moment to succeed, this is what it would be like. But that's not the world that we live in. We don't live in this perfect vacuum where you have all of the resources and knowledge and experience and everything that you need in order to be successful every time. If we did, then what would be the point? And then it would be time for ascension to whatever comes next, whatever is the next state of being. Maybe the next state of being is being a spirit guide. And you get to go from experiencing this life to helping other people experience this life. Wouldn't that be crazy? Who would you pick if you came back as a spirit guide? You'd be like, I'm going to be your spirit guide. Anyways. So our ideal self is always this perfect, really perfect person. And when you start comparing yourself to that person, it can be intimidating, it can be overwhelming, it can be discouraging, it can be so many things. Oh, the sun is so pretty. It's distracting me. So today, I don't want to rant and rave and talk a lot about your ideal self, because we all know what it is. We all know who it is we think we should be, or so we have some idea of that. And we all know where we feel like we're not doing good enough, because we wrote those things down when we wrote down our negative self-talk, right? Remember? I'm sorry, you don't need to look at me. Oh, here comes the geese. Oh, look at the geese. Oh, who knows if you can even see them. I can't even see the camera because of the glare. Anyways. But, so your ideal self is just that, ideal. And My challenge for you today is to write down all of the things that you feel are your ideal self. Maybe draw a picture of yourself and what you think you should look like and how you think you should dress, and the things that you think you should have and who it is that you think would be perfect. And that's the first step of this. So you write down all of those things, all of those places where you're like, oh, I feel like I should do better here, so my ideal self would do this. All of that just write it all down. You have a good job, you have the job that you want, you have the life that you want, you have the everything that you want. And what would that be? What is your ideal self? And then take a good hard look at that list or that picture or that whatever. And what parts of it are actually realistic? What parts are real? Like, what is achievable? Me having a multinational, nonprofit organization is realistic. Having it by 35, probably not so realistic. I realize more and more and more that as a child, when you're like, when I grow up, who knows when we actually grow up? Someday when I grow up, this is what I'm going to do. And so I can't be mad at myself because I haven't achieved an unrealistic goal. Someone who is 6 foot, because your bone structure makes you 6 foot, is never going to be shorter. Me at 5'3", I'm done growing. I've been this tall since I was 16. It's half my life, guys. I'm not growing anymore. Can't put on there taller. I wish I was a little bit taller. Okay, no. You can't wish things like that. That's not realistic. So how realistic is your ideal self? And physical traits are always really easy to be like, okay, is that realistic? But then think about other traits. Is it really realistic to do the things? I was going to use my example again. But for me, I really feel like this is realistic. I see people achieve things like this all the time. I just have to find the right team and have the right resources and get to that point in my life. We're not there yet. We had to do a major reset. I don't think it set us back. I just think it set us on a new path. So we're getting there. It's just a path. It's a process. But, I think at this point in my life, if my goal was to be president, I'm probably on the wrong path and not going to get there. Whatever. So, just one of those things. How realistic is your ideal self? How realistic are these goals and these comparisons and these ideas that you have? And then, okay, get rid of the things that are not realistic. And then what does your ideal self look like? That's a more realistic ideal self. Maybe make adjustments. Okay, I'm never going to get taller. I just need to accept my height. Whatever it may be. I love being short, by the way. I'm not complaining. I'm just using it as an example of something I can't change. But anyways, having a more realistic ideal self is really good for your psyche, because then you're not comparing yourself and judging yourself to the standard that's unrealistic. And then you can start picking things where you're like, okay, you know what? I can achieve this goal. It doesn't have to be an ideal self. This can be a reality. I can start looking for jobs in the field in which I actually want to work in. I can start taking on more clients. I can start doing whatever it is that you want to do. Make more art. Do whatever. You can start doing those things and achieving that goal. You're not stuck where you are, and you can always make improvements, and that's what this whole process is about. So, like I said, I challenge you today to get out your journal and start writing down what it is you are comparing yourself to. Who is your ideal self? And what are these standards that you are trying to live up to? And then start crossing off the ones that are not realistic and having a more realistic look at who your ideal self really is. And enjoy that thought. Like, I don't know, for me, when you go through and you make your list of who your ideal self is, and then you're like, okay, let me take off the things. I'm never going to be the president. I'm never going to do this. These things are not realistic. I'm not going to take on some world traveling student something or other to go around the world and learn from all of these other people like this, because I have 3 kids and this is not realistic. So take that off the list. Something's got to go. And stop trying to live up to this fake reality that I'm trying to create, and have real, like, these are real goals. This is who I could really be. I can really achieve these things, and start working towards that. And when you see that picture and you're like, oh, I'm a lot closer to my ideal self, or my ideal self is not so like way up here anymore. Now I can actually achieve these goals. I can do this. And it gives you a better foundation to set goals and to move forward, and a better outlook and more positive. So make this list, make it realistic, and then really enjoy that. Look at it, be like, okay, I can do this. This is who I want to be. And or maybe you look at it and you're like, wait a minute, I don't want to be this. I need to change this. It's time to reset some goals. And that's possible. Like I was saying the other day about my grandma, she was in her 50s when she's like, okay, I'm going to go back to school to get my doctorate in forensic psychology. Not even like an easy doctorate. She's like, I'm going to go hardcore and work with crazy serial killers, literally, like not even pretend, like literally work with crazy serial killers. And she's 50 years old. She's 5'2". She's like this little old lady. She's so cute, my grandma. But she did a wonderful job. She really enjoyed working that. She had like a whole new life for the second half of her life, and it's crazy. She just made that choice, was like, I'm gonna do this. And so you can do it. You don't have to be caught up in whatever like whatever's making you feel stuck. You don't have to be caught in that. You can change, you can move forward, you can make things different. So start here. Start with your ideal self. Who is it really? Look at it. Who is that? Is that who you want to be? Is this realistic? And then make the adjustments, and then take a look and see how close you are. And I hope that you have a fantastic day doing this. Think all day about it. Think all month about it. Just like I said, start making those notes. Start writing that down. Start pondering these things, putting them in your brain and working it through. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise this morning. It's been beautiful. And I hope that you all have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that great stuff, and continue with us along this journey of introspection, and many blessings to you. And all you do, I hope you have a great day.